There comes a point in the experience of a timeline shift when the internal transformation begins to express itself in the most visible and sometimes the most challenging dimension of your life: your relationships. You may have already noticed it. A friendship that once felt essential now feels hollow. A conversation that used to energize you now leaves you drained. A social environment that once felt like home now feels like a costume you have outgrown. And alongside these fading connections, something new is beginning to emerge. Chance encounters that feel like reunions, conversations that feel like they were written by the universe, people who seem to understand you at a level that requires no explanation. This is the social realignment, and it is one of the most profound and most misunderstood aspects of the timeline shift. It is not a rejection of the people in your life. It is not a sign that you have become cold, arrogant, or spiritually superior. It is the natural, inevitable consequence of a fundamental law of reality. Like attracts like. When you change your frequency, your social world must change to match it. The connections that were built on the old frequency of fear, lack, and struggle cannot survive in the new frequency of abundance, joy, and sovereignty. Not because they are bad people, but because the resonance that held the connection together has dissolved. A timeline shift, to be clear, is the internal realignment of your consciousness with a higher, more abundant version of reality. It is the recognition that the version of you who is free, creative, and deeply at peace is not a future self you are building toward, but the truth of who you already are at the level of frequency. When this recognition becomes embodied, when it moves from intellectual understanding to lived experience, every dimension of your life begins to rearrange itself to match. And nowhere is this rearrangement more visible, more immediate, and more emotionally charged than in your relationships. The frequency filter. Why old connections fade. The most common and most emotionally complex sign of the social realignment is the quiet fading of connections that once felt central to your life. These are not dramatic endings. There is rarely a fight, a confrontation, or a clear moment of rupture. The connections simply lose their vitality. The conversations become repetitive. The shared interests no longer feel shared. The energy that once flowed between you now feels effortful, as if you are both working to maintain a connection that no longer has a natural current. This is the frequency filter in action. In the old timeline, your social world was organized around shared experiences, shared histories, and shared beliefs, including shared beliefs about limitation, struggle, and the way the world works. When you shift your frequency, these shared beliefs are no longer shared. You have moved to a different floor in the building of reality, and the conversations that were perfectly suited to the lower floor feel out of place on the higher one. This is not a judgment of the people who remain on the lower floor. It is simply a recognition of a frequency mismatch. Where old friendships were based on shared trauma or lack, new ones are built on shared vision and joy. Romantic relationships shift from codependency and validation to sovereignty and interdependence. Professional interactions move from competition and hierarchical power to collaboration and mutual abundance. Even family dynamics transform from obligation and generational patterns to compassion and healthy boundaries. These transformations do not always happen smoothly or quickly. They can be painful, disorienting, and lonely. But they are necessary, and they are the universe's way of creating space for the connections that are truly aligned with your new frequency. What might have once been interpreted as isolation or being left behind is now understood as sacred space for recalibration. The ending of a job, once seen as failure or loss of security, is now clearing the path for higher purpose. Misunderstanding, once conflict or a need to defend, is now a natural result of frequency mismatch. New connections, once attributed to good luck or random chance, are now recognized as divine synchronicity and resonance. The soul tribe. Finding your frequency family. As the old connections fade, you will begin to notice the emergence of what might be called your soul tribe. A new social world populated by individuals who mirror your new frequency of abundance, clarity, and purpose. These are not people you have to work to impress or convince. They recognize you immediately, and you recognize them. There is an ease and a depth to these new connections that is qualitatively different from anything you experienced in the old timeline. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to shrink or perform. You can simply be, and that is enough. Your soul tribe often appears in your life in miraculous or highly synchronistic ways. A chance encounter at a bookstore, a sudden professional introduction, a deep connection formed through a shared passion or creative project. These mirrored souls are not here to complete you or fix you. They are here to witness and celebrate the version of you that has already arrived. In this highest timeline, your social circle becomes a source of nourishment rather than a drain on your energy. The communities that form in the highest timeline are built on a fundamentally different foundation than those of the old world. They are not organized around shared fears, shared enemies, or shared limitations. They are organized around shared resonance, shared visions, and shared joy. In these communities, the success of one is seen as a victory for all, and the unique gifts of each individual are celebrated and nurtured rather than suppressed or standardized. These are the frequency hubs, gathering places of souls who are committed to creating a reality based on love, abundance, and sovereignty. The process of finding your soul tribe is not one you can force or manufacture. You cannot search for these people in the conventional sense. What you can do is continue to deepen your own alignment, to become more fully yourself, more fully present, more fully inhabiting the frequency of your highest timeline. As you do, the right people will be drawn to your light. This shift from seeking to attracting is one of the hallmarks of the abundant reality, and it applies to relationships just as powerfully as it applies to money, opportunity, and creative expression. The law of assumption, the engine of the abundant timeline. Understanding the social realignment requires understanding the deeper mechanics of the abundant timeline, and at the center of those mechanics is a principle known as the law of assumption. This law states that reality is not something that happens to you. It is something that is generated by the state of consciousness you inhabit. More specifically, it states that you do not attract the reality you want. You become the version of yourself who already inhabits that reality, and the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. In the old paradigm, you were taught to attract what you wanted through visualization and affirmations, often from a place of not having. You would visualize abundance while feeling the lack of it, which created a fundamental contradiction at the level of frequency. The universe, which responds to your actual state rather than your stated desire, would mirror the lack rather than the abundance. This is why so many people who practice conventional manifestation techniques find that their desires remain perpetually just out of reach. In the highest timeline, you realize that you do not attract abundance. You become the version of yourself who already possesses it. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled as your primary state of being. This is the difference between seeking and occupying. When you occupy the frequency of your highest self, when you live from the state of having, rather than the state of wanting, the physical world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your assumption. You are not waiting for the money, the relationship, or the health to arrive. You are already living from the state of having them, and the external world is simply catching up. The desire, once a feeling of lack and need, is now a recognition of a new potential. The process, once struggle, doubt, and elaborate rituals, is now assumption, peace, and flow. The arrival, once a source of relief and fear of loss, is now a natural and expected outcome. The maintenance, once constant effort to keep what you have, is now simply resting in the state of being who you are. Instant feedback, the rapid mirror of the new timeline. One of the most striking and initially surprising aspects of the abundant timeline is the speed with which your internal state is reflected in your external world. In the lower timelines, there is often a significant delay between a thought or intention and its manifestation in the physical world. This buffer allows for doubt and fear to creep in, often sabotaging the very thing you are trying to create. In the highest timeline, this buffer is greatly reduced. Your thoughts manifest with startling speed, both the positive and the negative. This is a sign of your creative power, and it requires a higher level of mental and emotional discipline than you may have previously practiced. When you find yourself slipping into a lower vibration, when fear, doubt, or resentment begins to color your thoughts, the immediate external echo serves as a gentle but unmistakable reminder to return to your center. A conversation that goes sideways, an opportunity that falls through, a sudden sense of heaviness in your environment. These are not punishments, they are feedback. They are the universe showing you in real time that you have drifted from your frequency and inviting you to recalibrate. Conversely, when you are fully inhabiting the frequency of your highest timeline, the external feedback is equally immediate and equally unmistakable. Opportunities appear without effort. The right people say the right things at exactly the right moment. Money flows in from unexpected sources. Creative ideas arrive fully formed. The world seems to be conspiring in your favor, and it is. Because you are broadcasting a frequency of abundance, and the universe is faithfully mirroring it back to you. The quantum heart, the true center of your new reality. At the center of the abundant timeline is not the mind, but the quantum heart. In the lower dimensions, we are taught to lead with logic, strategy, and survival instincts. In the 5D reality, the heart is the primary organ of perception and manifestation. It is the electromagnetic center of your being, capable of broadcasting a frequency that is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. When you shift your awareness into the heart, you are tapping into the source of all abundance, joy, and unconditional love. The quantum heart functions as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms. It is the place where your human experience meets your divine essence. When you are in a state of heart-centered coherence, where your thoughts, feelings, and intentions are in alignment, you are in direct contact with the field of infinite intelligence. You may find that when you focus on feelings of gratitude, compassion, and appreciation, your external world begins to reflect these qualities with remarkable speed. This is heart-based manifestation. You are no longer trying to attract abundance. You are broadcasting the frequency of abundance from the core of your being. The quantum heart also allows for what might be called the alchemy of emotion. In the lower timelines, we often try to avoid or suppress emotions that we deem negative. Fear, anger, grief, shame. In the highest timeline, you realize that all emotions are simply information, messengers from your soul. You learn to sit with your emotions, allowing them to flow through you without judgment. By bringing the light of your heart's compassion to your fear, your anger, or your sadness, you transmute these low vibration energies into the high vibration frequencies of wisdom and power. You are no longer a victim of your emotions. You are their alchemist, and you use them as fuel for your creative expression and your continued evolution. Gratitude, once a simple acknowledgement of what is, becomes an amplifier for what is to come. Compassion, once pity for the suffering of others, transforms into recognition of the divinity in all. Forgiveness, once letting go of the past, becomes cutting the tethers to lower timelines. Joy, once a temporary response to success, becomes the permanent state of your highest self. Signs and synchronicities. How the social realignment confirms itself. The social realignment is accompanied by a rich array of signs and synchronicities that confirm you are navigating this process correctly. These confirmations appear in both the external world and the internal landscape of your emotional experience. You may notice that you feel a new sense of emotional neutrality toward people and situations that once triggered strong reactions in you. Where you once felt hurt, angry, or defensive, you now feel a quiet compassion, a sense of seeing clearly without being pulled into the drama. This is a sign of your emotional sovereignty. You are no longer a reactive being. You are a creative being, and your presence alone can sometimes act as a stabilizing frequency for those around you, even if they are unaware of the shift. You may also notice the arrival of what feel like miraculous connections. People who appear in your life at exactly the right moment, carrying exactly the right energy, saying exactly the right things. These are not coincidences. They are the universe's confirmation that your frequency is aligned and that your soul tribe is being assembled. Each new connection that feels effortless, nourishing, and deeply resonant is a sign that the social realignment is proceeding exactly as it should. And you may notice, perhaps most powerfully of all, a new sense of peace about the connections that are fading. Where once the loss of a friendship or the ending of a relationship would have felt like a catastrophe, you now feel a quiet acceptance, a sense of rightness, a recognition that every soul is on its own journey and that honoring your own shift is the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for everyone in your life. Practical daily rituals. Navigating the social realignment with grace. The social realignment is one of the most emotionally complex aspects of the timeline shift, and it requires both courage and compassion to navigate well. The following practices are designed to help you move through this process with grace, clarity, and an open heart. The resonance check. Before any significant social interaction, a meeting, a conversation, a gathering, take a moment to check in with your own frequency. Ask yourself, am I entering this interaction from a place of abundance or a place of lack? From a place of joy or a place of obligation? From a place of sovereignty or a place of need? This simple check-in ensures that you are bringing your highest frequency to every interaction, which is both the most powerful thing you can do for yourself and the most generous thing you can do for others. The compassionate release. When you notice a connection fading, resist the temptation to force it back to life through effort, guilt, or obligation. Instead, offer the relationship a compassionate release. In your heart, acknowledge the gifts that this connection brought to your life. Express gratitude for the role it played in your evolution. And then, gently, lovingly, allow it to complete its natural cycle. This is not abandonment. It is grace, and it creates the space for the connections that are truly aligned with your new frequency to arrive. The Soul Tribe Invitation. Each day, set a simple intention to attract the people who are aligned with your highest frequency. You do not need to specify who they are or where they will come from. Simply state, I am open to the people who are aligned with my highest self. I trust that my soul tribe is being assembled, and I welcome each new connection with gratitude and joy. Then go about your day with an open heart, paying attention to the people who appear in unexpected places and the conversations that feel unusually alive. The Quantum Heart Practice. Once a day, take 5 minutes to drop your awareness into your heart center. Place your hand on your chest, close your eyes, and breathe slowly and deeply. With each inhale, feel your heart space expanding. With each exhale, feel it radiating warmth and light. From this place of heart-centered coherence, set your intention for the day. I lead with love. I attract resonance. I am a frequency holder for the highest timeline. This practice is one of the most powerful tools available to you for maintaining your alignment and magnetizing the social world that is truly yours. Empowering conclusion. Your social world is a mirror of your frequency. The social realignment is not something that is happening to you. It is something that is happening through you as a direct result of the internal transformation you have undergone. The fading of old connections is not a loss. It is a liberation. The emergence of your soul tribe is not luck. It is the universe faithfully delivering the social world that matches your new frequency. And the mechanics of the abundant timeline, the law of assumption, the instant feedback, the quantum heart, are not abstract spiritual concepts. They are the operating system of your new reality, and they are working in your favor right now. You are no longer a passenger on the ship of reality. You are the captain. Every relationship in your life is a reflection of your internal frequency, and as you continue to deepen your alignment with your highest self, your social world will continue to evolve into a more beautiful, more nourishing, and more resonant expression of who you truly are. Trust the process. Honor the endings. Celebrate the beginnings. And know that the universe is assembling, with extraordinary precision and care, the exact social world that your highest timeline requires. Affirmation. I release all connections that no longer serve my highest frequency with love and gratitude. I welcome my soul tribe with an open heart. I lead with the quantum heart, broadcasting the frequency of abundance, joy, and sovereignty in every interaction. I am a magnet for resonant connections, and my social world is a beautiful reflection of my highest self. I am aligned. I am supported. I am home.